Good day, my name is Frank. I am from the beautiful village of Oshmulka, place of the three hills. So I want to be explaining a little bit on this painting that we did, which is the logo of our family's business, right? So we have a Maya lady, and she is basically saying the glyphs, right? So we see this line going out from her mouth. It's like a tongue, but this is representing speech, right? So she is saying U ha na li, which spells the word hanal. Then we have masewala, and this spells the word masewal. So we have u hanal masewal, so Maya food. And the lady is saying this, and all the glyphs just fall on this plate, which has two tamales, which are drawn the same way that the ancient Maya would draw it. So we have uhanal masewal Maya food, and it drops into two tamales, still drawn the ancient way, right? Very big influence in my life to be very proud of our Maya culture, right? To identify myself as Maya and to want to share it to other people. Because my dad, he used to do this program in this radio. He would do a session, in Maya, and he has a Bible in Maya. And I remember, he would read that every day, and he would help people in translating words. And I was like, this is interesting, I really like what he's doing. So I saw his passion that he had for sharing the language and being proud of who he is as a Maya. So I was like, I really love that, and I want to do it as well. So it started there. He was a very big influence in my life to be proud of who I am as well. Tz'ib naha. So the decoration of the surface, right? Tz'ib naha. Then we have uhai. So we have the vase of. Then we have a name, right? The vase of Chono. Then we have the name John. Ahpan tutu witsna, right? So ahpan, pan is to dig, right? So when we add the prefix it makes it a person, right? So it becomes a person. So ahpan is a person that digs, so therefore it makes it an excavator, right? So an excavator at tutu witsna, right? So this is a site that was recently found here in Belize, and John is an archaeologist who is excavating at Tutuitsna, right? So here it says, here is raised the decoration of the surface, the vase of John, an excavator at Tutuitsna, right? So here we have Tz'ib. The U makes it as possessive, so it's saying the drinking vessel of. Then we have Polo Yila, so it spells out the name Froila. Then we have Tsalam. Then we have Balize. Then we have the word Belize, right? So then we have Tone, we are. Then we have Maya, right? Maya on, right? So we are Maya, right? So we are Maya. And then we have la, ka, si, lo, no. So it spells out we are family. We are Maya, we are family, right? So the drinking vessel of Froilat Salam, and then we have the word Belize. Then we have Tone, Maya. So we are Maya, we are family, right? So this is the Governor General of Belize, Honorable Froilat Salam, right? So it's for her. So I still have to add a little bit more here, and add some drawings for her and give her this as a present. All right, so we have a carving here. It was a carving found on a burial of Hasauchan Kawil. So it was carved on bone with red pigment. So here I carved it on slate. So we have the corn god right in the center. So we have the corn god, and on the sides we have a monkey, we have an iguana, we have a parrot, and an opossum, right? So all of them have their hand on their foreheads, right? So that is representing mourning, right? So they are crying because the son, the corn god, died, and he is taken down there by the two paddler gods. They're taking them on a wooden canoe. Good to note we see two teeth here, teeth-like shape. They represent it is made out of wood. So everywhere we see this, even on a bowl, and it has this two teeth-like figures here, it represents it's a wooden bowl. So here we have a canoe and it has the sign, so it's a wooden canoe, right? So they're representing that. So the paddler gods are taking the corn god to the underworld, right? So they're taking him on the water, taking him to the underworld.
So Frank, how long have you been studying?
I have been doing this since I was, 13 years old, somewhere by there. I remember one day my brother Abdon came in with some papers, right? And he came with these papers that had these inscriptions, right? And I said to myself, this is very interesting. But he said, we can actually write with these. And I didn't know how, right? So he told me how to write my name. So I learned how to write my name, and after that I was like, this is cool. I should learn more. I should teach people. I remember learning how to write names, how to break the names, and I went around telling people, I can write your names in hieroglyphs, right? So that is how I started with the basics, just to write names. But then from there, I started to read books. I started to do my own research. Like this is one of the books that helped me a lot, right? Reading the Maya glyphs, written by Mark Vanstone. And I started reading books, doing my own research, and it was until lockdown, right? There was a lockdown. I took advantage of the time, and I said, oh, I should take a course. And there was a course given by Instituto Lengua Maya in Mexico, and Instituto Yuri Konorosov, it's a museum, by Guillermo Cantun, right? So we call him Memo Cantun. He was the guy that was teaching us glyphs for 9 months, right? So the first 3 months we did Introduction to Maya Epigraphy. Then the other 3 months we did Calendario Maya, right? The Maya calendar. And then the other 3 months we did classic Maya grammar. So we learned how the Maya wrote, what was their grammar, and how it worked, the rule of harmony, rule of synth harmony, right? And all of that helped me a lot to understand the Maya iconography and how the system works. So it's around.
Here we go.
All right, so everything, started when there were some scholars that came down and they wanted to read the Maya glyphs. But a lot of them said that the Maya glyph could not be read. And all of this system, no one had any ideas how it was read, because during colonialism, the Mayas were forced to leave all of this writing system and learn the European style, how we write now, right? So no one knew. By the 18th century, I would say, there was no Maya who could read in hieroglyphs or even write. So that is where we had people like Eric Thompson, he was a British archaeologist that started to understand the Maya writing. And he said the Maya writing is only ideas, it represents ideas, right? So there's a lot of history behind it, but this is a little bit of it. So he went to the glyph that was in the Dresden Codex, and it had a hand. This is a very bad drawing, but it's a representation. So it had a hand holding the thumb and the index finger. So he said, this is representing ideas, so it represents completion. So at the bottom we have a glyph with 4 spokes, and this is the glyph for day, he said. So completion, and the glyph for sun as well. So he said completion of sun. So he said, therefore it is west. So that is where the sun completes going around, and it sets.
So
west.
not west, but not the end of the day. Not like sunset.
Not the end of the day. I mean, that is where the sun sets, right?
Okay.
So it's saying like it sets on the west. So it's saying that's west, right? Completion of sun. So that is where it sets. So it says completion of sun, therefore it's west.
Okay.
Right. So we had another linguist, he was Russian, Yuri Konorosov. He said, I want to give it a try, because during World War II, he found out a book, and he says that he read that the Maya writing could not be read. So he gave the challenge that he wanted to do it. So a Russian linguist, Yuri Konorosov, came and said, knowing that the word for west is chikin, and the word for day is kin. So he said, what if it's not represent ideas, but it's actually the language, and it represents syllables? So he said, what if the hand, instead of reading it as completion, what if this is the syllable for chi, and this is day, so we have to call it kin, right? So he knew that the word for day is kin, and the word for west is chi kin. What if this is not only completion idea, but it's actually the syllable chi? And we have kin, which is a logogram for day. So we have chi kin, which is also the same word for west, right? So he said, oh, this could actually be syllabic, right? So we have a syllabogram, right? And we have logo syllabic. So that is how they started to understand that the Maya writing is actually composed of logograms and syllabograms, right? So they started to try to understand like how the words mean, what the words mean, and try to compare to other glyphs and see like where else we can use this glyph, right? This syllabogram. And that is how they started to understand everything. And being a linguist, you know, he had a very good understanding of the Maya language as well, you know, and other epigraphers that also helped, you know, like comparing it to the language that we have now and how the words are compared to the ancient language. Then that is where we start to understand where everything goes, and everything just fall into place.
Both like they're very good friends. Like even like his wife visit my mom and they exchange flowers with chickens and they still have the barter.
We never met her.
Patrona?
Yeah, we never met her, but we met Mel and Shirley and all the gang. So where are they now? Sure.
You go walking over the mountain here
Yes,
for 40 minutes?
I have to walk 40 minutes and go behind these mountains, and it's up and down, up and down. Sometimes we have to take a machete and just chop everything and chop our way out there, and we get to the place and there's this stream that just washes the mountains, right? And when it washes the mountains, then we have big mountains of slate. And coming down, I just take a swim, have a nice time under the canopy, the cold water, and then on the way back, I just start to pick up slate, right? Pick up slates, put it on my backpack, fill my backpack, then take two more here, you know, and then come up. And it's a lot of work, you know, but it's worth it. I can collect my nice pieces of slate, and when I get here, just carve.
And what about the pottery? Do you have a wheel that you turn it on yourself, or?
The pottery, this is something that I buy. So when it came to this, I decided that I want to help like the smaller businesses, you know, the small businesses like mine. So I am buying this from a lady in Sokot. She's building, she's making pottery, and I decided like, hey, I can buy some from you, and I can paint it. So these were ones actually that were already with a lot of dust, you know. It has like the web inside, and I was like, you know, I can buy that and make something out of it, you know. And her business went down during COVID, right? So I decided I can buy it from you, or I can paint it, right? So that is where I get my pots and paint them. Okay.
So
There is a lot of letters, right, in English that we don't have in the Maya vocabulary, right? So the Maya is actually an ancient language, and English, I would say we're dealing with a modern language, right?
yes.
So, for example, there is R. For example, let me just write the name John, right, as I said. There's a lot of ways to write John in Maya, right? But because the Maya writing is phonetic, we go with the sound, right? So we go with the closest sound to the word, right? So we have John. There was no J. If there's a J in the Maya, that would sound as the J in Spanish, which is an H, right? The H sound like Hon, right? It's not correct. It's John, right? So to try to go with the name and translate it or put it in glyphs, we have to go with the closest sound, right? So closest sound to J, what I use is a CH, right? So we have John. Instead of John, we say Chon, right? Chon instead of John. So we go with the closest sound because we're dealing with a modern language, and the Maya writing is phonetic, so we go with the sound, right? So instead of John, we say Chon, right?
So now how does that end up becoming a glyph?
Okay, so when we are going to write a name, again going with the sound, we break it down. So if we take a look at the syllabary, we have vowels and consonants, right? Vowels, they can stand on their own, meaning that they can be written as just one glyph, right? So we have a, e, o, u. Vowels are pronounced as the same vowels in Spanish. So we have a, e, o, u. Right, so that is how the vowels are pronounced in Maya. So the vowels, they can stand on their own. They can be alone as a glyph. But consonants, if we take a look here, they cannot, right? So we have B, but we cannot only have B. It needs to have a vowel on the side, right? So consonant plus vowel, consonant plus vowel, consonant plus vowel. Consonants cannot stand on their own. There has to be a vowel, right? So we have ba, be, bi, bo, and bu. Right? Consonants, they cannot stand on their own. You said there is always a vowel on the side. Same thing with H, right? H is a consonant, so we have ha, he, he, ho, and hu. Right?
So those are, the consonant is the chunk that when you connect. I'm trying to figure this out here. So okay, we're doing John. So.
Yes.
Go through and tell me how this works again.
Okay, so having in mind that we have consonant plus vowel, consonants, they cannot stand on their own, as I mentioned. Vowels, they can. Right, so if we want to write the name John, again, we go with the sound, right? So we don't write Jo, but Cho, right? There was no J in the Maya language, right? So we have John, so instead of writing J-O, we write C-H-O, right? So as I mentioned, the consonants, they cannot be alone. There needs to be a vowel, right? So knowing that J already has this O on the side, right? So we have a J, a consonant, we have O, a vowel. So this becomes one, right? So we have C-H-O, right? So it's consonant plus vowel, so we have C-H-O. So this becomes one. We don't need the H, right? Because we're dealing with a phonetic language, right? So we go with the sound. So N, if we say the consonant doesn't have a vowel, right? So we come back and borrow the O of the CH, right? So we have, and the N cannot be alone, as I mentioned. It's a consonant, it needs a vowel, right? So we have Cho, and the N, rule of harmony again. We go back with the O that already exists with the CHO, right? So instead of it being alone and N, we make it a consonant plus a vowel. You know, we go with the rule. So we have Cho, No, then this is not pronounced, so we have Chon.
Okay, so now I'm going to really throw, how would you spell Ian? I-A-N.
All right.
That's my name.
So there are two ways we can do that, right? I-A-N. So we can go with the spelling, right? So we can either write E-A-Na, right? So we have Ian. Or, again, this you saw the A, it's a vowel. It doesn't need a consonant, right? So the vowel can stand on their own, right? So we have E, A, the N cannot be alone. This needs a vowel. So we added the A. Rule of harmony, put the A.
So you borrowed that from the
A.
closest
Yes.
other vowel. Okay.
Yes. So E, A, Na, then it becomes Ian. But we can also write it this way. So we have E with the sound E, Yan. So it's like saying we're saying Ya, right? So we can add E, Ya, Na, right? So we have Iyan, right? So there are two ways we can do that. So either by spelling I-A-Na, or we can do Iyan, right?
I'm actually doing video.
Sorry, I'll shut up.
No problem.
Yeah, so we have the E here, right? So left. So we have, this becomes one, then we go to right. So we have the top. E, Ya. I wrote this as Nu, right? So it will become like Iyan and double A. So as pronounced as Iyan, right? So E, Ya, Nu. So the U is not pronounced, so it becomes Iyan. Right? So
Wow.
Iyana. So Iyan is your name, like left to right, top to bottom, right?
And Barb's?
Barb. So again, there was no R,
Right.
right? So as I mentioned, there was no R. Closest sound to R is an L, right? So in Spanish, when we want to say carro, we don't say carro, we say calo, right? So we have ba, then we have la, bi, right? So when we write it, it becomes, so these are not pronounced, right?
Right.
So we have
Oh.
bulb instead of barb, right? Because there was no R, we use the closest sound, which is L. So we have bulb instead of barb,
That's interesting.
which still occurs in the Maya language. You know, there are some people that will say urich, which is the shell, right? It's a snail, but some people say ulich, right? So the R and the L still has that connection, right? R and L close sound, so we say urich. Some people will say ulich, right? So barb, bulb.
I really want to thank you, Frank, for showing us all of this language. It really, I mean, we've only just touched the surface, but this is really incredible.
Yes,
you've
I
done
am very
fantastic things.
I'm very excited to share this. Very excited.
I'm really glad we were able to be here today.
Yes, yes. So this is a gift for you, Barb and Ian, right? And
Well,
then you can tie it here at the end.
Thank you very much. We weren't expecting gifts. Thank you.
Throughout all this, with all I am doing, you know, with hieroglyphs, teaching language, I want to advise people, you know, and to be proud of who they are, right? If you're in a native culture, be proud of it, right? And to have that cultural identity, because not only us, you know, have to appreciate this, but also share to other people so that they can appreciate it as well, right? And I advise the young people, you know, because that we are growing, it's something that was left for us, right? Our ancestors, they worked a long time, you know, to have what we have now, and to just let it go. It's not something that would be nice. So
do the schools here teach Mayan at all, or?
not the schools, not
No.
the schools, and to actually like learn this writing or even the language, you have to study like what in university or something. It's not something that the schools have. But again, it brings me back, you know, that is something I want to do. And I've started doing that. I go to schools and teach the Maya language, and with that, I take advantage and teach hieroglyphs as well.
Yes.
Because it's something that is our heritage. It was left for us, right? And I teach people hieroglyphs, and at the same time take advantage, teach the language, our contemporary Yucatec Maya language.
Yeah.
Yes. There, we were just thinking, you know, like how is there a way that we can teach the Maya language but in an interactive way? And Dr. Leah McCurdy came in the scene along with Sylvia Bati, right? So they said we should work on a card game, right? And they called me, you know, that to plan the game and see what we can do. So we decided, we should do it like Uno. So my part in the game was along with my parents, my dad and my mom. So they were like, we should translate some words, right? So the green colors are related to trees, right? So we have trees. Let me get a good example. Right? So we have name of trees with the green colors. So we have Kan, which is number 4. The green color is Yash in Maya. Right? So green, Yash. And the green color is related to tree phrases, right? So name of trees. So here we have Chaka, which is the Gumbo Limbo tree.
That's
Right.
the bad one, isn't it? Or is that the good one?
No, that's the good one.
That's the good one. Okay,
That's
I know
the good
there's
one.
2 in there.
This is the good one, Chaka. Right? Chaka. So when we play the game, just drop the card, say the phrase, right? And they like Chaka, right? So we go up saying the phrase that is here. So the blue phrases are related to, let me find one, are related to water, right? And we have the yellow ones are related to day phrases, right? So good morning, good afternoon. And we have Kimakingol, which is I am happy, right? So it represents like a day, you know, you're very happy going around. And so the red colors, let me find a good example here. There's a good example of the green. So you have on or ong, which is avocado, right? Avocado, and the colors would vary, right? So red are related to animal. So we have Chanpik, makes it a puppy, right? So we just go playing the game, drop the card, say the word, and say the phrase, say the color, say the number, right? So it's a very interactive way of learning Maya. So this is what we came up with along with Dr. Leah McCurdy and Sylvia Bati with the game. And at the back we have Ubashal Oshmulka, right? So the game of Oshmulka, the game of San Antonio where we are now, right? And at the bottom it says the game of the place of the three hills. That's the translation of Oshmulka. Osh, number 3, Mul is the mounds, Ka is place of. So Oshmulka, place of the three hills, right?
And
This will we will do the dried escabeche with this. We added some culantro and you know what's culantro?
oh yes.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Yeah.
And some oregano leaves.